Hi guys, Noelle here, and today I'm here to talk to you about the Adidas UltraBOOST X All Terrain. So it's a bit of a mouthful. The shoe is it's the most rugged in the UltraBOOST line, and it's supposed to be for all terrain in urban conditions. So rain, fallen leaves, damp, wet streets, slick streets, mud, little sand, everything like that. It's got that full boost midsole, and then for a change they have this continental outsole, which is supposed to give it that grippiness and grittiness that an all-terrain shoe requires. The upper is the prime knit upper, and if you notice right here, you'll notice that the ankle is cut quite high. So it's really supposed to help keep grit out of the shoe when you're running. This upper, this prime knit upper is weatherproof. The mesh is really super breathable. Well, that's what the product information says. When I took it for a spin, how did it fare? Form-wise, this looks like a really serious shoe. Like, you've got this sweep, which is supposed to make the shoe faster, and then it's really sleek, so it's not clunky, it's lightweight, so if you want to go fast, it's very responsive, and there's not a lot of structure to the shoe, so you can see it's pretty much like a sock with a cage around it. And then the trademark Boost X floating arch right here, which gives it stability, which gives it support without actually adding any bulk. I got this shoe relatively late compared to the other bloggers who got this shoe early, and that's because I had some problem with the sizing. I have a Pure Boost X model, which is 8.5, but the thing is, when I gave them these measurements, they gave me a shoe that was roughly a size smaller. So I had to go back, ask them for a different size, and then pick up the shoe from the PR headquarters. And it so happened that I got these shoes right before the Angkor International Half Marathon. When I say right before, I would say about 4 weeks before. And I was leaving for Hong Kong that same week. So I actually took the shoe for a spin first in Hong Kong along the harbor front on the Tsim Shat Tsui side. The UltraBOOST X ATR held up really well. I didn't slip on anything. I felt really sure-footed. And so, given the positive feedback that I got from using these shoes, I decided that I would be using them for the half marathon in Angkor Wat. Also, I didn't have a lot of time to run with this shoe before the race. Let's just say I kind of did maybe a total of 9 kilometers in these shoes before I did a 21K in them. But I remembered somebody's experience with other Boost shoes. This is Maricel Pangalinan's experience at the New York City Marathon, where she had actually forgotten her marathon shoes back in the Philippines, and she had taken a pair of these Pure Boosts along to walk around in, just casual shoes, but since she didn't have any shoes, she used her Pure Boosts and they got her through that marathon. So I was kind of thinking, comfort level wise, I've never really had a problem with Adidas. I think they're great out of the box. And so I was confident enough that I would run in these and I wouldn't get any blisters or get any hot spots in the foot. And yeah, it held up that well. And given that I didn't really have great lead up into the race, let's say I didn't have a lot of mileage leading into this race, I feel that this was the best shoe to take me through that race because, number one, I might have been a little bit heavier than race weight, so might have been striking the ground a little bit harder, and the cushioning of the Boost midsole made it so that I wasn't super super sore by the end of the race, as compared to say a flatter shoe or a stiffer shoe. This upper is really breathable, but the thing is it didn't let any grit in. The whole shoe on the outside was dusted with a thin layer of red dust, and that's just because Angkor Wat, if it's not watered down by rain or dew or anything, it gets pretty dusty, and so there was a lot of that dust on the road. And at some point I actually had to run on sand because I was trying to get ahead of a few slower runners. Like, there is an asphalt road around the Angkor Wat complex, but then of course it's quite narrow, and then some of that asphalt might be cracked or uneven. And additionally, I might have to run on grass, and there was a wooden bridge somewhere early in the race and also late in the race when we came back, and I was super sure-footed the whole way through. Regardless of what speed I was running, I felt really cushy and stable. A few considerations if you're going to buy this shoe. The first is that your foot needs to be, well, it doesn't have to be, but ideally you have a neutral foot strike, so when your foot lands on the ground, it lands a bit flat and then toes off straight, going straight. Because if you supinate or if you overpronate, this shoe isn't going to give you as much support as you will need. The other thing is that the prime knit is knit really snugly, so if you're used to a bit of play in your shoe while you're running, this is going to feel really weird at first. Personally, I don't like lacing my shoes too tightly because especially here in the forefoot, because my arch is quite normal, but it still feels really tight up here on the forefoot. So with this shoe, because the upper it's pretty much shaped properly already, this is just decoration. So I lace it as loosely as possible to allow my foot to kind of play a little bit in there as well. I would recommend socks that come up to about the same level as the ankle, or a little bit higher. I usually wear ones that with a little tab up here in front, and there's a tab in the back. It's not as visible, but it's still there. The idea is to reduce the chances that your sock is going to slide in and under and end up pooling right here in the front of the foot. The price is, I don't know what's standard for an Adidas shoe these days, but 9,995 pesos is not a laughing matter. And so yeah, you'll want to make sure that you will really maximize this shoe to the best of its abilities. I think you can actually use it on a bit of light trails as well. I've not tried it though, so if your shoe falls apart while you're running, don't blame me. For form factor, yes, you can probably use it for your daily OOTDs, but it doesn't really look great when you're wearing short shorts or skirts. It looks better if you're wearing joggers or tights or anything long that covers the lower half part of your leg. So I hope you like this review. If you like it, if it's helped you make a shoe purchase decision, please click like. Also subscribe to this channel because I've got a lot more coming up very soon. Right, thank you guys for watching. See ya!